which cast members addressed the diversity issues that the show faced after its release? What radical aesthetic differences creators made to the original Winx Club that people are getting mad about? And why did a seemingly innocent reference to Harry Potter become a big deal, which put the Winx Saga under a lot of fire? Without further ado, this is what happened to the real Winx Club Saga, the incredible franchise. When the animated series first hit the Western TV screens, no one even thought that they were produced by an Italian company, Rainbow Spa. Later on, the show went from channel to channel, eventually ending up on Nickelodeon that kind of became its guardian. Nickelodeon also became the co-producer of the series and basically helped Rainbow Spa to create a huge franchise out of Winx Club, which ended up being transformed into the latest Netflix hit. The show was so long, it aired for a mind-blowing 8 seasons, 208 episodes, plus it got its own spin-offs and very own films. Other than that, the production used every single way possible to put their trademark on numerous items. The fairies had their own merchandise and appeared in stores all over the world. And let's not forget that they also put out several Winx video games. Winx Club is currently reliving its former success, thanks to the Netflix hit TV series, Fate, the Winx Saga. But the reception isn't as great as the creators probably expected. The critics' rating on Rotten Tomatoes is a poor 31%. That's probably not what you can call a successful TV series. The lack of diversity is alarming. Unless you've lived under a rock, you must know what the original fairies looked like. The storyline followed Bloom, who entered Alphea College and started to learn all about her superpowers. Although there were some mistakes throughout the time the series was running, but that's not really surprising since the show has been going on for 8 seasons and stuff like that happens. When Netflix announced that there will be a so-called remake of the iconic Winx Club franchise, the internet went crazy and everybody got way too excited to find out what it's going to be like. However, little did they know how disappointed they're going to be. People gathered around to quickly voice out their opinions on the lack of diversity between the cast in the Winx Saga. When the Italian creator of the original show, Igino Straffi, released the amazing fairy scenes, he made sure that every single one was different, racially diverse, and most importantly, that they came from various cultural backgrounds. We had fairies of all different skin shades and of numerous ethnicities. Users on Twitter didn't let this misstep slide by unnoticed and immediately threw some light on the alarming issue. One of the posts says, "Y'all, I can't describe how mad this makes me. As a child, I loved Flora because she not only had nature powers, which were my favorite at the time, but she was Hispanic. As a young Hispanic girl growing up, we basically had no rep, and this is beyond wrong." And let's not forget that the creators changed the name of Flora to Terra. Not only that, but they completely whitewashed her. One of the favorite characters, Flora, was a Latina inspired actually by none other than Jennifer Lopez. But now she's completely misrepresented. Whitewashing and the lack of diversity is a huge problem that cannot be ignored. It's only understandable that some people feel disappointed with the approach that the creators decided to take this time. However, it's important to say that Netflix has been under a lot of fire lately for their reboots. It's honestly safe to say that this time they really did Winx dirty, and it's nothing like the Winx you remember from your childhood. Even the lead actress, Abigail Cohen, who portrays Bloom in the series, addressed the issues of the lack of diversity, saying, "I'm not a part of the casting process, but I do think if the series does go to a second season, I think hopefully these concerns are something that can be addressed. Because I do think diversity, both in front and behind the camera, is vital and much needed throughout the industry and internationally. So I think it's important that we are having these conversations." Abigail definitely expressed exactly what other people had in mind as well. The sad part is that diversity is not the only issue when it comes to cast. The creators of the show decided to completely leave out some iconic characters from the original franchise, and instead of them, made up ridiculous replacements. We must all remember the baddest trio of all times, the group of evil witches called Trix that was an unstoppable enemy of the good fairies. The group consisted of Darcy, Icy, and Stormy, but in this case, it was replaced by a single character named Beatrix. It didn't do them justice. The animations are not exciting. Despite the fact that the new Winx series is supposed to be a grown-up adult version of the animated kids show, it's no excuse to make it look dull. Every die-hard fan who enjoyed the original show has always imagined what it would be like to become a fairy, what wings they would have, what type of hair, and what clothes would suit them the best. But this time, the creator of the series, Brian Young, who also worked on The Vampire Diaries, completely missed the mark. It seems like the whole idea of the magic surrounding Winx got lost somewhere in between a cheesy storyline and the misfortunate representation of the original series. People were expecting crazy effects that would make the individual characters shine and show off their unique style in the best way possible. When you give it some thought, the animations were an essential part of the Winx Club. The biggest disappointment came in the last episode. Spoiler alert, guys! In the 6th episode of the show, Bloom finally proceeds to take control over her powers, and with that, the famous transition to a magical fairy was supposed to take place. And it did, sort of. The original TV series were always full of the fan-favorite scenes during which the characters completely transformed into the coolest and hottest fairies with some crazy music playing in the background. But when it comes to the Netflix version, it was pretty disappointing. The only thing that really changed about Bloom in this scene is basically that she got fire wings for a split second and did a little dance choreo in the air. Imagine not giving her a fierce outfit before she is about to fight the bad guys. We miss seeing the fairies rocking their beautiful wings. One fan said it best. This part was underwhelming. She defeated them way too quickly and easily. She couldn't have had at least a dramatic outfit change like the original Winx to add some sort of drama to the scene. And although some people were really disappointed, there are also the ones who kept more of an optimistic outlook on the whole situation and hope that the transformations and animations will get better in the next season. The underwhelming fashion choices. If you were expecting gorgeous fairies rocking amazing Ariana Grande-like outfits, we are sorry to disappoint you, but this was really not the case. One of the things everybody immediately noticed was the boring wardrobe of the characters. Forget bright-colored outfits, beautiful wings, and definitely don't have any expectations for wigs. In the interview for The Guardian, Brian Young tried to back up his choices for the aesthetic side of the characters. Look, again, I'm a massive anime fan and a fan of the cartoon itself, but of course, those are cartoons, he says. Nobody looks like that. It was the most important thing to me that every kid could feel like they see themselves in it. Real girls, real people. It's definitely honorable that he made sure that the viewers would find themselves in the characters on the show, but there's no excuse for making them look so boring. At the end of the day, it is a TV series based on a made-up fantasy world where fairies have superpowers and fight evil forces. So why not make them look at least a little bit more exciting? There's nothing wrong with celebrating the fun and the beauty of the original cartoon characters. The unfortunate Harry Potter reference. Just when you think the series couldn't receive more backlash, here it comes. Very early into watching the show, you will get to the scene where Aisha accuses Bloom of being the one person in the universe who's never read any Harry Potter. It wouldn't be a big deal if the people immediately didn't try to connect the new Netflix show with the Harry Potter universe. And why is it unfortunate? Well, although the series is set in a modern-day world where Harry Potter books and movies exist, the audience will quickly try to compare the two different worlds and accuse the creators from stealing other people's ideas. In the Winx Saga, you might not have Dumbledore or Professor McGonagall, but you have a hot teacher of fencing played by Robert James Collier and an expert on botany portrayed by Alex McQueen. The creator of the show, Brian Young, spoke on the issue as soon as he got a chance and explained why are the magical boarding schools such a vital element in creating a fantasy universe. It's a fantasy that I think a lot of people have when they're at that age, because you're just trying to find somewhere where you don't feel so alone and so different. All of us probably wanted to experience a dark academia lifestyle at one point. Speaking of dark academia, fans were not happy about this, too. The lack of bright colors is apparent, and instead of that, we got very dark and foggy surroundings. No matter how cool dark academia aesthetic is, it just isn't what Winx is about, and there's no way to back it up. One person on Twitter had this to say about the new aesthetics of the show. What is Netflix's obsession with turning light, happy, colorful kids content into dark, dreary teen dramas? It's true that the original show had some dark moments, but only in the sense of storyline. The series was more or less very cheery looking, and bright colors was what made fairies literally fairies. On the other hand, the Netflix version clearly ignored this fact. It's a strange ongoing trend to make things all dark and moody, but the life of adolescents and adults is not only that. We definitely think that the producers and the creators of the Winx Saga could have done better in the sense of choosing their color palette. And what's your opinion on the Winx remake, guys? Do you think they did a poor job portraying the original characters? Tell us your opinions in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye!